Why do you give a pass to one company, one Chinese company? Well, why don't you say, hey, this is what we want from you, China, period, and no company is going to get a special exemption?
They're not getting a special exemption. They're not getting special anything. If there are any changes in the remedies, they are going to be very, very harsh. Trust me on this. Amount to a takeover, if you will.
That was the president's top economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, telling me just last week that ZTE will not be getting any kind of special exemption. And just moments ago, the United States did reach a deal with ZTE. Now, under this deal, ZTE, the Chinese telecom company, is going to pay $1.3 billion in fines for violating U.S. sanctions on Iran and North Korea. This is a company that was doing business with Iran and North Korea, even though they weren't allowed to. ZTE is also going to have to change its management, place American compliance officers at the company, and it will buy a large percentage of its parts from U.S. companies. So, is this a good deal? Joining me right now, James Freeman from the Wall Street Journal. Good to see you.
Good to be here. Thanks, Trish.
How do you analyze this? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think it could be a better deal. I mean, some of those terms, if it was a normal, let's say, you look at the bank fines when they get caught doing financing for terror states, for Iran, for North Korea, getting rid of the whole management at a legitimate enterprise would be kind of a big deal. But in China, this is going to be largely influenced, if not directly controlled by the government regardless. So I'm not sure it matters in terms of the management. As far as the amount, I mean, some of the banks have paid much bigger fines. I think your question to Larry Kudlow is the right one. What interest does the world have in ZTE continuing to exist? This is a company that was caught cheating and then violated the terms of its settlement very soon after. So it kind of gives you a sense, I think, of their commitment to the rule of law.
So you know what I'm perplexed by in all this?
Yeah. I
mean, we have a president that says he's going to be tough on China. And he's trying to be tough on China. And I haven't been thrilled with how these trade talks have gone thus far. And fortunately, neither has he. And he made that clear in his one of his statements to the press yesterday. However, this ZTE thing perplexes me because it doesn't seem like it's in line with the rest of the policy. Why is there this outlier?
Yeah, and I think you'd want to see something else. When this first came down, we thought maybe it's part of a larger North Korea play.
Right.
So far, he doesn't.
He's not doing so well on that front.
Doesn't seem to be getting any concessions there. Is it part of a trade concession coming up? We'll see. But this issue of our people getting into ZTE and being able to oversee it, I think, is kind of intriguing, having a spy, or if you prefer, an informant at the company. But
compliance officer. That's what they're calling it.
But I can't imagine the Chinese wanting ZTE to continue to be a large player in the market if the U.S. government actually had complete transparency into its operations and technology. So it may take a while to figure out who won this deal.
My other question, and this is something I brought up with Larry the other day, is what are we doing with a company, a Chinese telecom company here, given what we know about the Chinese and their techniques for spying? I mean, who would want to have a Chinese telecom company as your provider, given what we know happens? Yeah,
and that's certainly the position of people in the military, the Senate and House Armed Services Committees. They don't want ZTE or Huawei to be dominant telecom providers in the United States or really anywhere in the world. This is a communist regime, after all, that is running probably the world's most sophisticated surveillance state. They're very active. I
think this is like obvious. No,
warfare.
You don't want, or certainly I as a consumer wouldn't be too interested in signing up for ZTE's business, no matter how good a deal it was. Look, I think it's a little strange. To your point, it may be part of a bigger, broader conversation in terms of negotiations with China and North Korea that we're maybe not as in tune with. But any other plausible reason why this is okay?
Well,
with the president?
Yeah, I think you're asking what a lot of people are, and that's what's driving this really a bipartisan effort in the Congress to put new rules in to essentially override what they think the president is doing and to punish ZTE is because absent some give on these other related issues, North Korea, the larger China trade issue, it doesn't seem to be appropriate punishment, because the original decision at the Commerce Department to punish ZTE and say, we're not going to let you buy American technology anymore, was not, I don't think anyone thinks that was some political or Trump negotiating play. That was sort of done by the book. The company cheated. They cheated again. This is a reasonable penalty.
All right. Well, we'll be watching it. Thank you so much. James, good to see you.